That book is, of course, Why Evolution is True by Jerry Coyne, who is our next speaker. Professor of genetics in the University of Chicago. I have come to regard him since the sad death of John Maynard Smith.
Get those nerds! Nerd! Nerd!
As the principal guru
in the New Age.
And it's a very great pleasure to introduce Jerry Coyne to speak today.
Hey dudes, what's up? Dusty Smith here with the Call for Dusty. Glad you guys are here. And lately, I've been taking flack from people about my videos again. They've been like, Dusty, man, we like your videos a lot better when you don't scream and yell, when you're just all calm and laid back. I'm like, cool, man. I took like a Percocet earlier, and I got some good weed here. And I'm staying completely calm this time. Ain't shit you can show me on this earth that's going to harsh my buzz right now.
You too old to be believing in evolution with your stupid. Evolution say people came from monkeys, and the question is, why is there still monkeys, you dumb you?
Oh, Cat Williams, are you out of your mind? Going on national TV and denying a scientific fact? Man, you look like that branched off in different directions. One of the branches led to modern humans, and one of the branches led to modern monkeys. Come on, man. That's high school level biology. You're better than that. I know you are. You got anything to say that might redeem yourself?
If there's any atheists in the house, let me say, you stupid. I don't care what God you believe in. You gotta be a special kind of retarded to be too stupid to make up a God if there wasn't one.
Oh, but you know, people might be saying, why does this even matter? Why does it matter if Black Huckleberry Hound got on national television?
That's racist!
The evidence for evolution, of course, there's another book out, which Richard was too humble to mention, but you'll hear about it later, The Greatest Show on Earth. And we cover overlapping, but fortunately not too overlapping areas of biology. Anyway, when I heard from Richard, I got a letter telling me what he would like to see me talk about. He asked me to put a positive approach to the beauties of the world of science in the talk. And I presume this is in reaction to the sort of negative image that we atheist scientists have amongst the public. We're always nattering on about horrible creationists, and we're always trying to take people's religion away from them. And so I want to give a sort of positive aspect to evolutionary biology.
It fills me with joy to make discoveries every day of things I had never seen before.
make it palatable to people. And that's what I'm going to do today by way of presenting what the evidence for evolution really is. Okay. So I'm not going to bash creationism very much. PZ did a really good job of that. PZ Myers yesterday. I'm going to talk pretty much about what the evidence for evolution is. But I have to cast this in the context because you're not going to see anybody up here giving talks about the evidence for atoms or the evidence for pathogenic bacteria. Stuff that was accepted 100 years ago, like evolution was 150 years ago. Why am I bothering to get up here and talk about stuff that we already knew was true a century and a half ago? And the reason is this, particularly in the United States, that the acceptance of the evolutionary biology is far less than the acceptance of the existence of atoms or pathogenic bacteria. If you line up, say, 34 technologically advanced countries, in terms of their acceptance of evolution, each country is on the left, running down, I think, from Iceland to the bottom. And look at the percentage of people that accept evolution, which is in blue, not so sure in tan, and false in red. You'll see the countries line up, and here's where the United States is. We're 33rd out of 34th countries, just above Turkey, which is somewhat of a fundamentalist Islamic country, and right below Cyprus. So this is a pretty abysmal position for us to be in, given that we're, at least we think of ourselves as a technologically advanced society. Okay, why is this? Why are we so advanced? We just heard a great lecture on stem cell research, a lot of it in this country. Why so low in evolution? Well, I think you know the answer to that, but I'll defer that bashing to the end of the talk. One clue might be that because we're always fighting a rearguard action against evolution because of people trying to keep it out of the schools, and most of those people, as was true in the Dover trial in 2005, are motivated by religious motives. Okay. That's all the creation bashing for now. What I want to talk about is a lot of stuff that's limned in my book, Why Evolution is True. I understand it's on purchase outside, although I haven't seen it. And I'm going to tell you what the evidence for evolution is. But before I do that, I have to tell you what scientists mean but when they say something is true.
I think words mean different things to different people.
And what do we mean by the theory of evolution? And then I want to present the evidence for why that theory is true in a scientific sense. And I'm doing this for several reasons. I don't think I need to convince people in this audience that evolution is true. You wouldn't be here otherwise. But perhaps you don't have the armamentarium of evidence under your belts to talk to your neighbors or your relatives about why it's true. The second reason is that maybe you don't realize how multifarious this evidence really is. It's not just the fossil record. It comes from 6 or 7 different areas of biology, all of them confluent in this truth of the hypothesis that Darwin proposed 150 years ago. And finally, the evidence for evolution is just really cool stuff. It's interesting, it's amazing, it's astounding, it's staggering, and that's what my book is about, that's what Richard's book is about. So that's what I'm going to do for the rest of this talk. First of all, I have to get clear what we mean by a scientific fact. What do we mean when we say that something is true?
I think words mean different things to different people.
We mean, and I believe this definition was first raised by Stephen Jay Gould, it's an assertion for which there is so much evidence that it would be perverse to deny it. And by that, I mean that those people who are capable of judging the evidence, if almost all of them say that that's true, then it's true. And that's what we mean in science. So when I say something in science is true, it's like this desk is true. There may be some philosophers out there that say, well, just because I can knock on this and make a sound doesn't mean that this thing is really there.
Get those nerds! Nerd! Nerd!
There, and I'm standing behind a lectern, and I will try to propose that there's as much evidence for evolution as there is for the fact that this lectern is here before you. Okay? And so that kind of evidence is true for atoms. You'd have to be perverted to deny that atoms were the constituents of elements. There are some people out there undoubtedly who don't, but who do deny it, but they're a minority. Same with pathogenic bacteria. And the evolution falls in that class as well. I will maintain that evolution is just as true in the sense I mentioned as are the existence of atoms as the constituents of elements. Okay, what are they? First of all, evolution occurs. Populations change over time. And by change, I mean they change genetically. The genetic constituents of a population, the kind of DNA that is shared by members of that population, undergoes temporal change. Second of all, that change is not instantaneous, but gradual. It varies. I mean, evolution can occur on scales of 10 years or 100 years and more likely thousands to millions of years, but it does not happen overnight, except in very rare cases. So we're not talking about an instantaneous genetic change that changes like the population of dinosaurs into a population of birds. That was once thought to be the way evolution occurred. We no longer think that that's true. So that's part two. Now remember, these are somewhat independent. You can verify that things evolve, but the fact that they evolve gradually, they don't have to. They can change overnight.
That's the idea.
Third, and this is my own area of expertise, speciation occurs. You don't just see one lineage changing over time. Instead, you see lineages branch. Here's a case of what we call splitting. The formal word is speciation. Empty. There's nothing in it. It doesn't do anything. It's a vestigial feature. I mean, we're not intelligently designed in any respect, and you can pick out numerous features of our bodies, our bad backs, the way childbirth occurs, the recurrent laryngeal nerve, etc. Here's just one example of bad design, which testifies to evolution. You would predict that if a feature is evolved, you're going to get jury-rigged features, things that don't make sense, that an engineer would not put in an animal or a plant that way, but that you would expect to find if things had to go from one state to another along a completely adaptive slope. The most famous, well, at least for males of my age, is the prostate gland. The prostate gland is a miracle of bad engineering. Only a moron engineer would design an organ that's prone to swelling that surrounds a collapsible pipe.